Literally wondering here. So, this might be kind of late. But, hey, at least I'm doing it. I'm going to answer the questions that you guys asked me. Well, some of you, not all of you. In fact, I'm glad that, I didn't really get more than like 8 people asking me questions. Because I didn't want to have to answer like 20 or 30 or 40 questions. But yeah, so as part of my foreign subscribers Q&A, I went ahead and, I told everyone, I pretty much made this separate video in which I said, you can go ahead and ask me whatever you want, and I'll answer them. And also, too, I'm having a giveaway, so after this, I'm pretty sure, I think after this, I'll go ahead and have the giveaway drawing. So, but for now, for this video, I'm just going to answer the questions, so, yeah. And then also, these aren't in any particular order, other than just, I'm reading them, I'm going to read them in whatever order they appear on my phone, so, yeah. First one, L. Amaya, I believe that's my friend Lisa Amaya, my writer friend. Also, she was the one that invited me to a cool movie premiere I went to for this movie called Blaze, and I did a review of it too. I got to meet the star of it, which was this really cool, down-to-earth guy, Ben Dickey. If you haven't seen my review of that, I'll provide a link to where you can check it out. It's an awesome movie, by the way. I believe it's already, it should be available in theaters nationwide by now. I don't know, if it's not, then that kind of sucks, but, because it is a pretty cool movie, but, yeah, and then, I've known Lisa for a while, way back in, I don't know what year, 1993 or 94, we lived on the same street, and our parents were friends with each other, so, and I guess they still kind of are. But anyway, so yeah, Lisa wrote, congrats, Ryan, which, thanks, Lisa. She asked, what was your favorite book to write and why? Because Lisa knows that I've self-published a number of books, so, as far as favorite, I'm going to say Awareness. There's this book I published called Awareness, which one fellow booktuber reviewed it so far. I'll mention him when I get to his questions, but and not that I don't like anything else that I've written too, but I guess it's just because with Awareness it's like experimental, and I got to really just have fun with it. It's poetic, but also has a little bit of like kind of philosophical musings and whatnot, and which it is available for free download. I can provide that link for anyone who wants to check that out. But yeah, it is highly experimental. I had fun with it, because I wrote it because I wrote it at a point when I had already been rejected by a lot of publishers, not for that book in particular, but just for other stuff. I tried to get published, short stories and poems and other collections and stuff. And so, like, one day I just finally said, I'm just going to write whatever the hell I want to write and self-publish it. I don't care if it makes sense to anyone or it does, or... So yeah, that one, definitely Awareness. And then she also asked, who is one of your favorite writers and why? I'm just going to say R.L. Stine. R.L. Stine, of course, the writer of the popular Goosebumps series. Yeah, he's really what got me into writing in the first place and reading. Yeah, when I was in 6th grade, I wrote like my own versions of like kind of like Goosebumps rip-offs, and I had like some of my classmates read them, and I even made copies, passed them out, and so yeah, I mean, R.L. Stine inspired me to write, and he is definitely one of my favorite writers, possibly the favorite of mine, my all-time favorite writer. I don't know. So, and next we have Matilda Gothica. She wrote, "Congrats, mate. Thanks. Is there anything else you think you'll add to your channel?" I don't know. One thing I wanted to try out eventually, maybe in another month or so, or sooner. I don't know. One thing I wanted to try out was like doing interviews where like, because I wanted to interview, just like get used to interviewing people. So I might start off with like some of my friends and family members and just do like, nothing like too serious, but just, I don't know, just so I could get used to that kind of process and format. And, because I feel like, everyone has some kind of interesting story to tell or something interesting about themselves, to share with people. So, yeah, that's one thing I'd like to eventually bring to my channel. And then books with Brandy Shanae. Yeah. She wrote, "Congrats." Thanks, Brandy. And she also asked, what is your favorite book / author, and have you met the author in person? I guess for this one, I mean, other than R.L. Stine, I'm going to say favorite book. I guess I'll go with Catcher in the Rye. Yeah, or no, that's just one of my favorites. I'm going to say Walden by Henry David Thoreau. Yeah, Walden by Henry David Thoreau. And of course, obviously, I mean, unfortunately, I haven't met Henry David Thoreau because he passed away a long, long time ago. But yeah, I've been meaning to reread Walden for quite some time now. Definitely gotta get to that. But yeah, I just remember the first time I read it, it was like I was barely out of high school, and I just kind of like picked it up on a whim, checked it out from my local library, and it really spoke to me. Just the fact that Henry David Thoreau decided to go out into the woods and just live there, and just exist and just commune with nature as much as possible. And and of course he did experience some kind of struggle, and it was just to be expected. But yeah, that's Walden. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend reading it. And the next, Mindy's book journey. She wrote, "Congrats on 400 subs." Thanks, Mindy. Mindy is the first fellow booktuber to review my novel, Aperture. And yeah, I'll provide a link to where you can check out her review of it. But she did a really good job of reviewing it, I feel. And I'm glad that she liked it. But yeah, you should definitely check out her review. And which, by the way, my novel Aperture is also available for free download in multiple formats. I can provide a link to that too for those who are interested. So the question she asked, what is your favorite Steven Spielberg movie? That's kind of hard. Because I know Steven Spielberg, he's made a lot of really awesome movies. And even like been a part of making some awesome movies. I guess I'm gonna say Back to the Future. Even though I know Steven Spielberg, along with Robert Zemeckis, they're the ones responsible for Back to the Future, the entire trilogy. But yeah, I really liked those movies, the trilogy, the first one, the second one. I guess the third one, not as much, but I still enjoy it. So yeah, Back to the Future. And then she also asked, did you ever wear Jinkos? I guess she means the Jinko jeans. Because yeah, I guess they were pretty popular growing up in the 90s. No, I never wore Jinko jeans. I guess there was one point when I wanted to, but my dad wouldn't allow it. And my dad didn't allow it because he didn't like that they were extremely baggy. Yeah. So no, I never did. But I'm also glad that I didn't. And then she also asked, what about frosted tips? No, I never had frosted tips. I never even wanted frosted tips. I'm not so sure that I would have been able to pull off frosted tips. Like, I don't know. I had a lot of friends that did get frosted tips, but they eventually outgrew them. And so, next, Todd the Librarian. No, Todd the Librarian is the fellow booktuber that reviewed my book Awareness, which I mentioned at the start of this. I could provide a link to his review too for those who want to check it out. But he asked, how long have you been playing the guitar? Pretty much, I mean, I guess the first time I picked up a guitar, it was my dad's old, like, acoustic. Well, it wasn't that old, but it was just kind of old because he didn't play that often. Because when my dad was a teenager, he also played the guitar. So he had like this, one time he got like this guitar, or my mom bought him an acoustic guitar. And they didn't play that much. And then one day, I want to say when I was 11 or 12 is when I first picked it up. And, of course, I didn't know what I was doing with it. I just, like, banged away on the strings. I pretty much just banged away until my thumb felt swollen. And but I got serious about guitar playing by the time I was 15, because then that's when I started taking guitar class in high school. And yeah, and then from there I would just, I ended up practicing. And then also that was during the same time when my dad bought me my first electric guitar. And I would practice for like 2 or 3 hours a day. Just, I would just hold up it. I'd just be pretty much lock myself in my room and just, jam out, rock out as much as I could. So yeah, of course that annoyed the hell out of my mom. My mom ancestry, but I still did it anyways. And I'm glad I did. So I guess like technically it'd be like 17 years now, going on 18 years. Yeah. So And then he also asked, other than Ezra Pound and Jackson Pollock, who are a few of your favorite artists that other booktubers might not be aware of? I don't know, I'm going to say, as far as artists are concerned, I mean, Van Gogh is my favorite artist, but I know a lot of people are aware of Van Gogh. I'd say Modigliani. I don't think too many people are familiar with Modigliani. Yeah, there was a movie made about him, which the actor Andy Garcia, I believe, portrayed that artist, Modigliani. Modigliani was like kind of an acquaintance of Picasso, or no, I would say more like a rival or something. But he's the one, like, he painted a lot of portraits of women, nudes also, but his portraits of women, like most of them, he'll paint them without eyes. So he'll paint, like, their entire body, but then just leave their eyes like blank, pretty much dark. So yeah. Modigliani. I don't know who else. Paul Gauguin. I think a fair amount of people know about Paul Gauguin. Paul Gauguin was a friend. Well, not really a friend. Like, Van Gogh wanted Paul Gauguin to be his friend. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'll probably think of more after this, but and then he also asked, well, I know you've played hockey before, but what other sports have you also enjoyed? I used to play basketball. I think when I was like 9 or 10, I was on this basketball team. It was like this local neighborhood group. I think we were called the Hornets, if I'm not mistaken. Hornets. Which are kind of like bees or wasps, but I don't know, I think shaped differently. Yeah, basketball. I mean, I guess I liked it for the most part, but I didn't like the fact that, I got tired of it because every team we played, we lost pretty much every game. And, like, every team we played against, they were just always taunting us and making us feel bad. And, yeah, I don't know. I think that's what ultimately turned me off basketball. But I mean, I used to like watching basketball a lot more than playing it, so yeah. And then he also, last question, Todd asked, what is your favorite beer? Well, it used to be bitter chocolate oatmeal stout, which is brewed by the Stone Brewing Company. But that was like a limited time thing, or at least where I live now, there's no liquor store. The liquor stores here where I live in El Paso, Texas, they no longer carry it. So, and then after that, there was this other beer, which was another like limited time thing. It was called like Neapolitan or something like that. And it was really, really tasty. It had like hints of chocolate and strawberry and vanilla and cherry. But yeah, that was a limited time thing, so I don't even know if the Stone Brewing Company is gonna have that again this year or not. But other than that, as far as favorite, I mean, I guess I really don't have a favorite. It just have to be like either Steel Reserve 211, which I've yet to do a beer review on that. It's either that, Steel Reserve, or Hurricane, but Hurricane is more of a malt liquor. kind of beer, but kind of malt liquor. I did a beer review of Hurricane, I believe. Yeah. So thanks for those questions, Todd. Next, Sarcasm and Sci-Fi. She asked what book author got you into reading and which album artist made you want to start making music. Well, R.L. Stine and the Goosebumps series, that's what got me into reading, definitely. And as far as like which album / artist made me want to start making music, definitely Metallica. Metallica. And I guess I would say not necessarily their first album, but Master of Puppets, which is their third album. The first time I listened to that before I listened to any of their other albums. And yeah, it really blew me away. I mean, especially for the time period it came out in the 80s. I mean, I didn't listen to it in the 80s. I wasn't old enough yet. I didn't listen to it all the way through until like, I don't know, I want to say like 97 or 98 but yeah, Master of Puppets by Metallica, definitely. And of course Metallica is my all-time favorite band, so I actually got tickets to see them next year in February of next year, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Next, Dane reads. Dane wrote, "Congratulations, good man." Thanks, Dane. And he asked if you could make a super group with a vocalist, bassist, guitarist, drummer, dead or alive, who'd be in it, and what would you call the band? We'll assume you're also in the band playing rhythm guitar or something. Okay, that's kind of a hard question. Let's see. For vocalist, I'm going to go with Ronnie James Dio. He unfortunately passed away some time ago, but yeah, he still is, I'd say, my favorite singer, vocalist. Definitely, he could really hit those high notes and like find that sweet spot and just really let it ring out. And so yeah, bass player, I gotta go with Cliff Burton. Cliff Burton, the original bassist for Metallica. Yeah, that guy, he was a beast on the bass. Unfortunately, he passed away too. One day when they were touring, there was a bus accident, and yeah, he flew out the window. The bus landed on top of him, and yeah, but no, Cliff Burton, definitely. Guitarist, I'm gonna go with Dimebag, Daryl Dimebag Abbott, the guitarist from Pantera. Unfortunately, he passed away. He was killed. He was shot in the head. I want to say back in 2004, I believe. Yeah, he was shot and killed by this psychotic ex-Marine guy, and yeah, but Dimebag, definitely, he was an awesome guitar player. Drummer, I'm gonna go with Dimebag's brother, Vinnie Paul. Vinnie Paul unfortunately passed away this year in June. Yeah, I mean, Vinnie Paul and Dimebag together, they created, they wrote, they recorded a lot of really awesome music. Metal music, but they also did other stuff too, recorded really awesome bluesy stuff. And yeah. And then as far as like what it would be called, I don't know. They call it like the I don't know. call it like pure awesomeness. Yeah, why not pure awesomeness? I mean, because you got Ronnie James Dio, Cliff Burton, Dimebag, Vinnie Paul. Pure awesomeness. Yeah, pure awesomeness. As far as myself, yeah, I guess, I would be in there playing rhythm guitar too. I mean, why not? Yeah. Thanks for that question, Dane. It really made me think. And then last, Alex Black. She wrote, "Congrats on 400 subs." Thanks, Alex. I love the eclectic nature of your channel. Oh. Yeah, thanks, Alex. I'm glad somebody likes it. She asked, who was the first poet you read and loved? First poet I read and loved, definitely Walt Whitman. Leaves of Grass. Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman. I mean, I had read others before, like I was familiar with Robert Frost before, because I read some of his stuff when I was in high school, but Walt Whitman, yeah, I like that in Leaves of Grass, like, that was the first time that I read anything by any poet where, the structure, like, it didn't adhere to any kind of, like, strict structure or format, and, yeah, and then also I like that, and during some parts of it he mentions philosophical stuff about life, the universe, and biology, and I mean, the nature of mankind. And so, yeah, definitely Walt Whitman. And then she also asked, how did you get into studying philosophy/spirituality? Well, pretty much like one day I don't know. I took a philosophy class some time ago. I want to say like 2003 or 2004. It was just at a local community college, and I started to get really into it. And I liked the fact that there were so many different philosophers throughout history who pondered the nature of existence, the nature of reality, and the universe, and then after that, I got curious about different religions and what they thought of as far as like the different things that philosophers like Socrates or Plato or even like Friedrich Nietzsche. Like, I want to know as far as what the religions thought of the different things that these philosophers talked about, wrote about, and of course with Christianity, I mean, I knew right away. I mean, but still, I knew that Christianity, and then I read several books about Christianity in which they went on to describe the fact that pretty much for Christianity, it's primarily about just worshiping, and which that's cool, if you're into, but for me, I've never really been able to completely accept that concept. But again, it's cool if you're into that. I believe everybody should be free to believe whatever they want to believe, so long as they're not hurting themselves, but especially hurting other people. But and then I got curious about Buddhism because I knew absolutely nothing about Buddhism, and I picked up a book which is titled "Awakening the Buddha Within" by Lama Surya Das, I believe. Yeah. If I can find, I'll try to insert a cover of it, just so you can know what the cover looks like. But that book, it's like an introduction to Buddhism. And I was surprised to learn a lot about it because, the Buddha himself, essentially, I mean, I don't want to ramble on, but essentially he was this like prince. He was living in a lap of luxury, and one day he decided that, he wanted to find out more about life because he was very sheltered, and his father, the king, made sure that his son, the prince, never felt the need to venture outside of the palace. But eventually he did. For many different reasons, he did eventually feel like venturing off, outside the palace. And Buddha was pretty much, to me, when I read about him, he seemed very much like a philosopher himself. Because he was curious about the nature of life and reality and existence, and also the universe. So that book, along with others, but especially that book, Awakening the Buddha Within, that really opened my mind to just the possibilities, of, as far as like things like the meaning of life, or what is happiness, or is there really such a thing as eternal happiness, and all that. So I might have to do a separate video on that so I can talk a little more in depth, but I hope that answers your question, Alex. And then the last question she asked, what are your favorite movies of all time? Definitely Back to the Future trilogy. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Definitely like that movie. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I really like that movie. I also like the book. I read and reviewed the book a while ago. And I'm trying to think what else. Star Wars, the original Star Wars trilogy, obviously. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I also like the recent Star Wars movies too. Even though I know, like, there's plenty of people out there that don't like them, and it's... and I don't know, what else? Pretty much, other than that, I like any kind of sci-fi movie, as long as it's not, not too cheesy. Any kind of, like, independent movie. I really like watching a lot of independent movies, because I found that most of them have really well written stories. So pretty much, like, if I have to choose between watching like a big budget action movie that everyone's talking about, or like some small budget independent movie that I know has, a well written story, and also some, actors, at least somewhat known actors, or even if, they're unknown actors, but, in other words, I guess if I have to choose between action or a well-written story, I'm going to go with the well-written story 100% all the time. So, thanks for those questions, Alex. Thanks to everybody who asked me these questions. I enjoyed answering them. This is my first Q&A. Hopefully, hopefully it'll be the first of many others. I don't know. Also, thanks to everybody who subscribed, who was currently subscribed, all the new subscribers, long-time subscribers. So, definitely thanks. And, of course, I am aware of everyone who entered. Thanks to everybody who entered the giveaway. Definitely good luck to all of you. I'll be doing the drawing soon. Hopefully. It should be sometime this week. Definitely. So, So that's it. Thanks for watching this. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sticking around and all that. So, Until next time, don't forget, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.